Good morning, beloveds. I thank God for each one of you. I am so grateful to welcome you to Unity of Bellevue today. This is the place where we know and we practice the spiritual truth that God is good and all is well. Welcome into that vibration of love, of inclusion, of beauty, and of joy. I'm Reverend Marla Mason, and I am here to serve today as your senior minister, as your spiritual leader. And I am here today to support us all in consciousness, in raising into a higher place, a higher vibration of love. We are here to love one another. We are here to grow in consciousness, and we are here to serve the common good. So welcome. Grateful to have you with us today. I want to let you know I don't do this all by myself. We have a whole team of folks who support me and who support us in creating that loving consciousness, that place where we can learn and deepen and grow with one another. And so first I want to say thank you to Susan Neidig for a beautiful meditation service this morning. It was a powerful experience for me. Susan is one of our meditation facilitators and a prayer chaplain for Unity of Bellevue. And she, along with one of our other prayer chaplains, Jennifer Holt, will be leading the prayer circle after the service. So stick around for that when we are complete at 11:30. Also today, our board host is Rita Schwarting. Thank you, Rita, for bringing the loving consciousness, the business consciousness to our service this morning. I'm grateful for you. And Monica McDowell-Elvig is holding it all down as our producer. And as you all know, she's our, well, as probably most of you know, maybe not all of you, she is our center administrator and holds us down all week long. So grateful for you. I also want to introduce our guest speaker today. You'll be hearing from him in a little bit. Reverend Dr. Edward Donalson is a powerhouse. He's a powerful man. He completed his undergrad studies in theology, his graduate studies in spiritual leadership and in ministry. He is the senior pastor at the Kingdom Family Worship Center, and he's also the director of the Doctorate of Ministry program at Seattle University. I am very privileged to call him my friend, and he's a powerful supporter for me. You know, the part that you guys don't see behind the scenes is the kind of support that I receive from my friends and colleagues, and he is definitely one of those. So you'll be hearing from Bishop Donalson here in a little bit. Look forward to that. And then finally, I want to introduce our guest artist for today, Kat Beulah is bringing the music. So grateful for you. I visited Kat's website this morning, and you want to do that, katbeulah.com. Check it out. Buy some of her music. Support the arts in our community and in the world. Kat Beulah is, she's a fiddler, she's a songwriter, she's a teacher, she's a powerful woman, and she's a loving heart. And so welcome, Kat, to our community today. And I know you have something special for us.
Thank you, Reverend Marla. I'm going to start with a song by actually an Australian songwriter, Darren Handlin. Maybe you can relate. I know I can. There's rumbling in the head again. Inside the head there lived a brain. Inside the brain there lived a dream that shot round like a laser beam. Along nerve endings and synapses past the room for memory lapses brought about by alcohol that causes all the cell collapses. Now that dream's not the only one. I had plenty more when I was young, but I grew up in a big hurry, and then one day I start to worry that I'm gonna be a goner before I read all the books I want. If I plant a tree now, it'll be fully grown long after I'm just dust and bone. And now I can't sleep, it's already 3 a.m. and I'm lying here dividing sheep by the square root of 10. Well, I turned off my TV for clarity. I gave away my clothes to charity, but someday I still envy those walking around wearing my clothes. So I'll just plant a tree I'll never see grow, put a seed in the ground where no one will know. Make my plan when the morning breaks, but I just don't know how long it'll take. I keep hearing voices and ringing phones, but I'm staring down a highway all alone with just the company of my stomach rumble. But I feel okay, it makes me humble, without a load that I must carry or a bump in the road to make me tarry. Just a pile of ashes from the miles I've burned and everything I've learned. What have I learned? Don't walk in front of cars or behind horses. Cats don't drink milk out of flying saucers. Green means go, yellow go faster, red means stop a financial disaster. And don't ever underestimate the fitness of a determined Jehovah's Witness. And don't ever take for granted what grew from every kiss you planted. If a heart can break, then a heart can feel. It's enough to know you're alive and real, not a rattle and bounce in a little white ball, not a number on a roulette wheel. And hair it turns gray, skin it turns to leather. But the best thing about growing old is we all do it together. So I'll just plant a tree I'll never see grow, put a seed in the ground where no one will know. Gonna make my plan when the morning breaks, but I just don't know how long it'll take. They say a love that's shared is a love that's carried all the way to the church where you'll be married. It's a long, long way from aisle to altar, and you don't have the time to falter. Well, love will always come and go, I hope, but sometimes love goes up in smoke and you're left there with the greedy ghosts just when you need them most. Some of your friends have disappeared and others started acting weird, and you're lying in bed with an awful feel until you learn by heart all the cracks in the ceiling. You think, oh my God, I just related to that awful love song I always hated. The past that all becomes distorted like it was broke before you bought it. Remember, you're the one who paid. Pull the pin out of the hand grenade. It's up to you to leave your room, but don't forget to bring your spade. So you can plant a tree you'll never see grow, put a seed in the ground where no one will know. Gonna make my plan forever to roam, gonna feed my nan in the nursing home. Gonna make that plan when the morning breaks, but I just don't know how long that'll take.
And so we take the sacred breath together and we recognize the beingness of the infinite has planted the seed of life right in us. We are at one with the infinite. Its beingness is right where we are. We say yes to the divine experience of oneness, of unity, recognizing that every seed we plant bears fruit, recognizing that we have the opportunity this day and forever to plant seeds of love, seeds of truth, seeds of wisdom, seeds of power and grace. And that we stand together in spiritual community this morning to cultivate that awareness, to deepen, to grow, to open our hearts to spiritual truth, to anchor in infinite love. And so I speak my word of blessing on this holy and sacred time together this morning. I speak my word of blessing on the seeds that get planted this day. I speak my word of blessing, knowing that the infinite has it all handled. And so I surrender this time to that mind and heart of God and allow it to unfold. And so it is. Amen. Hey, I've got an affirmation for you this morning. Our theme this month has been around gratitude. And so I would like to invite you to, just take a receptive pose, open your heart, open your mind. I'm going to read through these words once, allow them to permeate every moment of your consciousness. It goes like this. I'm so grateful to be alive and for the blessings of my life. I walk in the awareness of infinite good, infinite God, and I choose to be thankful every day. Life is good, and I am grateful, and so it is. And so breathe in the power of these words. And I invite you, wherever you are in our virtual sanctuary, to declare these words of truth with me aloud. I am so grateful to be alive and for the blessings of my life. I walk in the awareness of infinite good, infinite God, and I choose to be thankful every day. Life is good, and I am grateful, and so it is.
Tough times they try patient souls. Creeping injustice advances to take hold. You're mounting an army to answer the call. Start with your friends, or did you cancel them all? 'Cause nobody's woke, everybody's still waking. Nobody's gonna give what they believe has already been taken. The method is the same, no matter the mission. If you wanna win, you gotta be willing to listen. Now, I know it does not feel safe to go first, but if you're too scared to soften, you will only make it worse. An eye for an eye leaves the world without eyes, and nobody ever changed their mind 'cause they were ostracized. Nobody's woke, everybody's still waking. Nobody's gonna give what they believe has already been taken. The method is the same, no matter the mission. Well, if you wanna win, you gotta be willing to listen. Yeah, nobody's woke, everybody's still waking. Nobody's gonna give what they believe has already been taken. The method is the same, no matter the mission. Oh, if you wanna win, you gotta be willing to listen. Yeah, nobody's woke, everybody's still waking. Nobody's gonna give what they believe has already been taken. The method is the same, no matter the mission. Well, if you wanna win, you gotta be willing to listen. The method is the same, no matter the mission. Oh, if you wanna win, you gotta be willing to listen.
Hello, family. I am so happy to be back with you at Unity of Bellevue in a new way, in a new space, adjusting to a new reality and a new manifestation of what has already always been. I'm so thankful for each one of you and happy to see your beautiful faces, your smiling faces, your comfortable faces. We could get used to this kind of comfort, couldn't we? It's just great to be with you. I want to say thank you, a special thank you, and share a heartfelt love for Reverend Marla. Earlier this week, we had a very wonderful collegial conversation where I got to do something that I don't often get to do, and that's blush. And you need people in your life with whom you can blush. And so I'm just deeply grateful and thankful to her for being such a wonderful colleague and such a wonderful friend and giving me the space to be my full human self. And so thank you, Reverend Marla. And thank you, Monica and Becca and all the team that makes Unity possible and makes Unity feel like home for me. Thank you so much. You know, from my tradition, we borrow a lot out of Judaism. We, in fact, our entire set of scriptures is based on Hebrew scripture. And in Hebrew scripture, there are some very fascinating passages. One of them is Exodus 29, where we find what people call the 10 Commandments. And today I want to reimagine with you from a place of gratitude for cultures and for histories older than ours, what those 10 concepts, ideas, theological groundings might say to us and might be for us as we live further into the truth. There's this thing called progressive truth that says truth is always unfolding and truth is always revealing. and we are always becoming in progressive truth. And I wonder if what Moses was trying to do with this new nation that would establish a new socio-religious identity, if he was really trying to give them some principles of truth that would ground them. We think of them as these commandments that are rigid and hard and keep us from joy. And the reality is, I think that deep inside of them is buried a universal truth that frees us to life and love and light. You know, we're human beings, and human beings seek to make meaning of the whole, of the self, of the world, and the cosmos. So we have this word in our English language called faith. And faith is the word reserved for those ways of making meaning that fill in the spaces for us. Faith is the mortar between the bricks. Faith is that which holds everything together. Faith is that frames the world and our understanding and concept of it. So religion, separate and apart from faith, is our hunger for shared meaning. Our faith is idiosyncratic, but our religion is a way of group conversation. It's a way of doing theologic together, talking theologically with one another. Our religion is never our faith, because our faith is so much deeper than what we can share with the other. And yet our faith is all a part of the universal one. Faith is ubiquitous while religion is specialized. Faith is permeable while religion is specific. William F. Lynch, in the book Images of Faith, suggests that faith comes into being at the dawn of human existence in the womb. We lose the womb and we have to reorient our idea of what is safe over and over and over again. And this is how faith grows. Faith grows every time we reorient our idea of what is safe. Faith is that response to the idea of being sentient, being alive. It is the response to the trauma of exiting the womb and entering a world that is foreign and unfamiliar, and in many ways unsafe, but becomes safe because we will always have faith. Each one of us are natural theologians when we maintain the view that there is malleability of faith, right? Theology, thoughts or thinking, the science of talking about the divine. And we're all doing that all the time, aren't we? We're all theologians. We're all trying to make sense of that which is bigger than us and greater than us, and yet we are a part of. And so it is true that in the divine we live and move and have our being. So there is this malleability, there's this transformation in the world of our faith. In our own interiority, we are always growing and expanding and surrendering to the one and becoming a part of the more. Moses' 10 Commandments then are just a system of meaning making for a people. But embedded in that system of meaning making for a people, there are some truths that I believe today, with a grateful heart, we can embrace and we can recalibrate and we can walk in a fuller understanding and expansion of the truth. The first of Moses' commandments, or 10 truths, is that we would have no other gods. And I think what Moses is really getting at here is that the divine is all, and all is one. There's only one thing, one being. And our quest is never to settle for anything less than the one. This is why we work to end sexism and racism and homophobia and heterosexism and imperialism and capitalism and all of those horrible isms. We work to end them because we understand that all is one. Nothing human is foreign to me because I am human. And while I may not manifest in the same way as my sibling, it doesn't mean it is foreign to me, because it lies within me the possibility because we are one. And the more we understand that we are one, the more we work for the kingdom of God to come into existence in our consciousness, in our lived experience. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in other dimensions, that it is made perfect here in this manifestation and dimension, because we recognize that all is one. The second thing we recognize that we are not to have any graven images. Moses tells Israel, thou shalt have no graven images. And I don't know what exactly that meant to them. I don't know if they couldn't have statues or paintings or pictures but what I know is what Moses is getting at is that the beloved is greater than our knowing. The divine is too good to be particularized, to be individualized. This ubiquitous divine and divinity is becoming diviner. So we have to let go of our understanding of reality and simply behold it. What would happen if we let go of what we thought the divine is and allowed the divine to be the divine in all the areas of our life? What if we gave up and released the need to control the narrative of God? My mother used to say to me in her very evangelical fundamentalist way, she would say to me, God did not do that. And I would say, well, how do you know? How do you know God wouldn't do that? And she would say, because the Bible tells me so. I said, have you looked at that book? It's some things that they said that God did in that book. I'm not quite sure. I don't. Ooh. What if we could all allow God to be God as God is God, without our having to control what God is for everyone else? What if instead of saying God is, we said, I need God to be. I perceive God to be. I receive God as. My understanding of the divine tells me, because I understand and know, the moment we decide to concretize our idea of God is the moment we have left the idea of God altogether. Because if our finite words can describe the divine, then in truth, that is not divine at all. Because words are always a limited container pointing to a greater concept. You know, you understand this because you say, I love you. And then you say, oh, I love this pizza. And I pray that those are not the same thing. I want your spouse to feel better about themselves than that slice of pizza. But we use this word love to describe the relationship we have with this pizza and the relationship we have with the one who delights our heart. Because words only point to a larger concept. Oftentimes we find ourselves saying, you know what I mean. Of course, now when people say that to me, I often say, no, I have no idea what you mean. But that's okay, keep going, I'll catch up. I'm not the brightest candle on the cake, but at least I'm on the cake. What if we took that humility before the divine and before our concept of the divine and said, no, I don't know, but I'm learning because you're unfolding, because I'm discovering, and because you're more than I could possibly ever articulate. Thirdly, Moses says to Israel, don't use God's name in vain. Now, I can't tell you what I thought that meant, because then that might not be polite for mixed company. You're not supposed to say those things. You understand what I'm saying. I come from that kind of people. You don't say certain things. You don't do it. But I don't think that's what Moses was getting at. I think what Moses was getting at is that you can love God, but you can't use God. God is beyond your controlling. There are spiritual principles, and the principles work when you work the principles, but the divine can't be manipulated. The divine can't be fooled. You'll never give your way into receiving. You give because giving is right from an altruistic place. And the universe responds to that altruism. But this is not a quid pro quo. You can't control the divine into making someone else fall in love with you by your meditations. I know. Some of us have been meditating on that person, just been meditating it. I'm meditating. It doesn't work that way. Beloved, the universe is beyond your control. It's larger than you. You can't just come out and say, I won the election and make it so. That just doesn't work. You can't make it so. But we try, don't we? We try because we are convinced that we have the power to do it. And we have the power to use the divine in ways that manipulate the rest of the world. And the truth is, principles don't work that way. Truth knows truth, and truth will only respond to truth. Truth in the inward parts, the psalmist says, thou desires truth in the inward parts. And everything responds to the truth. The fourth thing that Moses says is that you gotta keep a Sabbath. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. And you know, in my house growing up, that meant that you could not iron your clothes. You couldn't cook a meal. You had to cook the night before. You couldn't clean. You couldn't go to sporting events. You couldn't go to the movies. In fact, you just couldn't. It was a lot of couldn'ts. But I don't think that's what was the heart of the message here. I think what Moses was lifting up for us is that life is a gift. Let go. Be nothing. Be powerless. Be empty-handed. Let the divine be the divine. Take time to stop doing and be. When did we become human doings? I got to do this and I have to do that. And I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And every day we have a to-do list. But when are we going to be human beings? When do we step into our be list? You know, as the director of the Doctor of Ministry program at CLU, I interview students and I ask the students why they want the degree. And some of them come and they say, I want this degree because I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do the other. And the secret, I'll let you in, oh gosh, we're on Facebook, this might get out. Oh, it's probably not the right answer in the interview. Because I don't care what you want to do. I care who you want to be. I care about paideia. I care about deep learning. I care about your big question. What are you curious about? What did you come to discover? Yeah, I'm gonna do this and that makes this amount of money a year. And thank you so much for your time. You'll hear from us. But the students that come and say, I want to know and I want to be known. Those are the ones I'm eager to embrace and to accept because they know that there is something more to the journey than doing. There's a place of being that we're called to. Sabbath is not just about resting. Sabbath is about being. Sabbath is about coming alive to what is the all, the one, the truth, allowing every cell of your body to pulsate with the vibration of the divine. That is what it means to remember Sabbath and keep it holy. There's something that Moses says about honoring your mother and your father, and I think it's broader than patriarch and matriarch. I think it has to do with the elders and the ancestors. And I think he's asking us to honor the ancestors because you belong. There's a deep sense of belonging inside of this honoring that from which you have come. You receive great gifts from those that have come before you and those who surround you. and all the living beings who provide for you simply because you're here. And what Moses is saying is there's an orientation and a posture of life that is gratitude, that calls you into something bigger than yourself when you recognize that there is something bigger than yourself. There's an African saying, Ubuntu, I am because we are. And Western folks went to Africa and they conducted an experiment and they learned about Ubuntu. They put sweets and candies and treats and delights at the tree. And they told several African children, they said, whoever gets to the tree first can enjoy the sweets and the delights. And these children grabbed hands and ran to the tree together. And when asked later, why did you do that? One of you would have had all of the delights. The children repeated, Ubuntu, I am because we are. There is no enjoyment if we don't all get to the tree together. I cannot enjoy the delight when my sibling has no delight. I think Moses was calling us to honor our ancestors and our elders and to bring them into the room and to the space with us, because Moses understood there is no me without a we. You know, I know that's not really popular in an imperialist capitalist society where a wealthy 1% has power and control over a 99%. And I know that we have a mentality of pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps and look what I've gotten and I earned it and by golly, I worked hard for it and you're not going to tax me for some lazy slob. But the truth of the matter is, you are, we are all one. And the gifts that we have received were here before we got, you didn't pull yourself up by your own bootstraps because somebody else made the damn boot. Are you kidding me? And then somebody else put the strap on the boot. And then you have the brazen audacity to come along and declare, I have pulled myself up by my bootstraps. Well, perhaps we should reorient and become very thankful for the boot maker. The sixth thing, life is sacred. And so Moses tells the people, thou shalt not kill. Life itself is the presence of the divine. Do what gives life and refrain from all that diminishes life. You know, little things, recycle, do that. That's right to do. Because thou shalt not kill. I know it's a pain. Oh boy, it's a pain in the buttuckus. And you have to rinse it out and you gotta, and then separate the cap over here. And then you gotta put this plastic over there. You gotta put the glass over there. And then you gotta put the compost over there. And then but guess what? Life is so very precious and so very sacred that any act that diminishes life is problematic. So I have to confess that I went car shopping. And I fell in love with the Hummer. I did. I confess. I fell in love with the Hummer. It was red. It was a red Hummer. And I thought, this vehicle desires me. I looked at the Hummer and the Hummer said, you will be so cute getting out of me. And I said to the Hummer, you are the smartest car I've ever met. This is a smart car, I told the people, because it knows I'm going to be cute getting out of it. And then I started looking at the emissions on that thing and the amount of fuel that that thing takes. And I thought, I don't think I can participate in killing the earth in this way. I don't think I can cooperate with the system of death. And then I said, you capitalist imperialist society, dang you, you almost got me. And I bought a hybrid because I understand thou shalt not kill or do no harm or murder another person's reputation with evil words or diminish anyone by thinking negatively of them. Thou shalt not kill. The seventh offering that Moses gives us is don't commit adultery. And boy, that one is really, that one, it's got a lot of layers there, right? Like I saw like 5 people's Catholic guilt just pop up. It's okay. I'm not gonna like go there on you. But I will tell you that the heart of life is faithful love. The divine is faithful. And all of life is a covenant. Adultery is not cheating on your spouse, or we've made it that, but that's an oversimplification. To adulterate a thing is to change it from its original intent. It is to break the original design or covenant. You're the one that stood up there and said you were going to forsake all others. If you didn't intend to do that, you could have had it taken out. You don't have to say that. You make another covenant. It says I'm gonna cling to you most of the time. Okay, now we're not doing adultery. You know what I'm saying? Because that was the original agreement. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I mean, we don't want to say that in front of our families and friends, but it's an option. I'm just saying, what is the original covenant that you have entered into, and how do you keep it? Not just with your spouse, but even when you make a covenant with a company to pay a bill. If you give me this cable on the 13th of the month, I'm going to give you this cash. And when we don't pay that until the 15th or the 19th or the 1st, or we get the little notice that says, hey, if you don't pay it, we're going to take this away. We're not covenant keepers, we're covenant breakers. Or when we say to Unity of Bellevue, this is my pledge for the year, and then we don't honor that, we've committed adultery because we have changed our original covenant. It's the covenant that we made freely. It's interesting how many of us are adulterers. And we're not stepping out on our marriages, but our word doesn't hold a lot of weight because we have a hard time keeping it. The divine is faithful, and everything in your life is a covenant. Be faithful to your covenants. Moses tells us not to steal. We're all in this together. Possession is an illusion, people. Resist the temptation to think of yourself as separate from others, or of others as a resource, or yourself as more deserving than they. Seek to bless others rather than to take anything from them. See to it that everyone has what they need. Isn't this what the first followers of the teachings of Jesus did? They had all things in common. What would it be like if we wouldn't steal? If we wouldn't appropriate more to ourselves than our fair portion? If we didn't live in excess while we knew that others lived in lack? What if our abundance could not come at the expense of others? Now, I have to confess here, I don't always live that. And I don't live it because I am hopelessly addicted to Apple products. Hopelessly. I might be the only one, but this is my confession today. Apple phones, Apple watches, iPads, MacBooks, MacBook Pros, iMacs, Apple toothbrush. I love Apple. The products, they just are so zen and beautiful. And yet I am aware that there's some unjust labor there. That somebody somewhere worked in a way that my enjoyment and my convenience is at their expense. And I try to balance that back. But I can't. So I have to wrestle with that because I'm working on this, thou shalt not steal. And I want you to think through where you're working through it and where other folks' expenses are problematic for you. Moses tells us not to bear false witness. Illusion is powerful, but truthfulness is more powerful. Free yourself from the power of illusion and be truthful in all things. Can I tell you, there is nothing more amazing than living your truth, whatever that truth is. And the moment you step into it, that's the moment you realize you've been in a prison of your own lies. The truth doesn't change just because you tell a lie. It's still the truth. The ramifications and consequences of said truth will meet you on the other side of your lie. Live in your truth. And finally, don't covet. I know that's really, really hard in a society that gives us commercials. And I want to tell you, I'm like 5 feet tall. I'm a very short man. I'm just I'm barely on the cusp of adult size. I'm just a little guy. And I watch these commercials and these men are like 6'4". All of the men on the commercials are 6'4". They're so tall. And they reach the top of the refrigerator with ease. You understand what I'm saying? And it's hard for me not to covet. I want to be tall. I want to have that body, and the muscles, and you see them with and nobody wears a shirt on television. I don't understand it. Everybody, they walk around their house with no shirt on. They go, who does that? You know, I'm looking here on the screen. We all have on shirts, but on television, nobody has on a shirt and their bodies and I said, oh, I'd like to have some of that. Boy, I'm gonna get me some of that. But I'm sitting in a chair saying I'm gonna get that, and it probably doesn't work that way. I'm gonna figure it out, you know. So much so that people are now having pectoral implants and 6-packs implanted. And this is a thing now. They're having this cosmetic surgery and they pretend bodies because you have coveted someone else's. But you are a source, not an endpoint. Relinquish possessiveness and let go of things. Be giving instead of grasping. You are perfect in your imperfections. Whatever you have is perfect for what you need to accomplish. And the moment you need more will present itself. There's no such thing. Can I just tell you, there's no such thing as poverty. There really isn't. There are only the effects of poverty that's created by people who don't know there's no poverty. It's really greed that creates the effects of poverty. There is enough everything for everyone everywhere. We just have systems that diminish certain people's access to those things. There's never a need to covet, only a need to recognize what already is. You are abundantly blessed, overwhelmingly resourced, magnificently supplied, because we live in an opulent and extravagant universe. My prayer for each one of you is that as we have looked together at what Moses gave for a people as a grounding and as a centering for their culture and for their spiritual understanding, that the eyes of our own understanding have been enlightened, that we might know what is the height and the depth, the width and the breadth of the love of the divine for us, and that we might live in that love for one another continually. Thank you so much. Blessings to you.
Oh, so many blessings. Bishop Donalson. And so let's together turn within as we seal these words, as we seal in an awareness of truth, as we seal a consciousness, an opening to God, as we seal an opening. Interesting. We allow ourselves to be a channel for the infinite, an instrument of the infinite, for we know that there's only one life, one truth, one beingness. And I know that we have been anchored in truth this morning, that as we have opened our hearts and minds to the power of this message, that we have embraced a greater truth, that we become emboldened to go out in the world and live that truth. And we have come to understand more fully and more deeply that truth is always evolving, always growing, always expanding, for it is the name and the nature of the infinite that we call God. One truth, one evolving, expanding truth. And we anchor ourselves in that truth, and we recognize that we are created in the image and likeness of the infinite, and so we are evolving and growing in our understanding. And we become willing listeners, willing hearers, willing participants in the realm of truth, recognizing that we are a source of infinite good in our own lives and in the lives of others. And so I give thanks for the power of this message. I give thanks for the presence of this beautiful man, Dr. Donalson. And I give thanks that we have been transformed this day by the renewing of our minds as we come to a deeper and richer understanding of truth and how it is expressed so perfectly and so divinely in our lives. And so it's with a grateful heart that I close this message, calling it good and very good. And so it is. Amen.
Just wanna know ya, just wanna talk to ya. I wanna hear about your day, don't wanna leave ya or be mean to ya. I might just let you get your way, 'cause something good will come my way, and maybe this good thing's gonna happen today. If I were honest, I'd tell you everything, but it keeps coming out as lies. It's not a promise, in case you're wondering. It's not some blessing in disguise, but something good will come our way, and maybe this good thing's gonna happen today. Something good will come our way, and maybe this good thing's gonna happen today. I know optimism's not in fashion, and my heart is on the line. Would you be so kind to help me bide my time till something good just might come crashing from the stars that light the sky? Would you be so kind to help me bide my time? I just wanna know ya, just wanna talk to ya. I wanna hear about your day. Something good will come your way, and maybe this good thing's gonna happen today. Something good will come our way, and maybe this good thing's gonna happen today. Something good will come our way, and maybe this good thing's gonna happen today. Something good will come our way. Something good will come our way. Something good will come our way.
You, Kat. Thank you, Bishop Donalson. Oh, thank you for expanding my perception of the Ten Commandments. I particularly love about killing and including the environment. That really hit home with me today. So now in keeping our covenant of supporting Unity of Bellevue with our love offerings and tithes, I invite you to join me in our offering affirmation. Please join me. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is.
And so I speak a word of blessing on these gifts. I know that they are given from a sense of blessing, from an awareness of blessing. And so they are received in the same consciousness, for we know that the infinite flow of life is right where we are, and it is in our financial good. And so I bless these gifts and I consecrate them to the good use of Unity of Bellevue with a grateful heart. And so it is. Amen.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Monica McDowell-Elvig. I'm your Center Administrator. We welcome you this morning. If you are visiting with us for the first time, we invite you into the larger space of faith that Dr. Donalson was talking about, faith that's bigger than any religion. And we honor that here at Unity of Bellevue, and so we invite you to walk that path of discovery with us. If you would like to stay in touch with us, we're completely online right now, and the best way to stay in touch with us is to sign up for our weekly e-newsletter. You can do that on our website, unityofbellevue.org. At the bottom of every page is a sign-up form for that newsletter, and that comes out every Thursday morning. And if you do that, I will follow up with you and see if I can send you, if you would like to receive a welcome packet from Unity of Bellevue. There's some free gifts in there for you, and I'd love to do that for you. Here are some of the things that are happening around our center right now. This Wednesday, we have our Wednesday Community Connect with Reverend Marla at 1 p.m. You can find the Zoom link for that on our website, unityofbellevue.org/launch, or just click on the button at the top of every page that says Sunday and Online Gatherings. That's an informal check-in where we're just focusing on spiritual principles and practices midweek during our Zoom pandemic. So we hope to see you for that. Also right now, we are collecting gifts and gift cards for Kindering. It's our sacred service for the holidays. Kindering is a local nonprofit that serves children with disabilities. It serves families in transition. And so we are collecting those. If you have any gifts or gift cards, you can arrange with me to drop them off. There is a list on our newsletter. There is a list on our website that will give you all of the suggestions that Kindering makes for things that you could purchase for them. Also, we have a cookbook that has come out, and it's a great time to use it during the holidays here. You may not know, if you have not gotten yours yet, that it is full of inspirational quotes from New Thought founders and teachers and ministers, including our Reverend Marla Mason. It's also a great way to give contactless stocking stuffers and gifts. I'm going to do that this year. I'm going to give it as a contactless stocking stuffer for relatives. We just ask that for every donation, for every gift of it, you give a donation for $10 for every share of it. Once you've downloaded that document or you've bought it on Amazon, it's just a $10 donation to Unity of Bellevue. Thank you for that. Our bookstore has now gone online, and you can purchase some things on there. Just go to our website, unityofbellevue.org/shop. I intend this week to have some holiday things up for you, some jewelry from Victory Lawn Quest and from Susan Neidig and Kate Rose. Linda Hillesheim is going to be doing some greenery and crafting. I'll be putting up some yarn trees for sale to help benefit our center during this holiday pandemic season. So thank you for shopping. You can do curbside pickup or I can ship to you. Our prayer chaplains this morning are Susan Neidig and Jennifer Holt. They will be staying on after service for our virtual prayer circle. If you have any prayer requests, we invite you just to stay on. There'll be a couple of minutes of transition with music until that prayer circle starts, but we invite you to stay on and pray together as a group. If you're unable to, or if you would just like to send prayer requests to them, you can do that at prayerchaplains@unityofbellevue.org, or you can go to our website page, unityofbellevue.org/pray, and fill out the prayer request form. That is it for me. So, Reverend Marla, back to you.
Beautiful. Hey, Monica, as we prepare to close, I'd like to share my screen. And
Yes.
I believe I can do that. So what I want to do as we get ready to close today, I want to give you a December sneak preview. Here's what's happening in December for us. We'll be home for Christmas. Yeah. So that's our theme. We are going to talk about ways like how do we bring the magic of the season to our holiday experience in the midst of a pandemic where our traditions and the ways that we might typically celebrate the holidays are not going to be possible for most of us this year. And so we're going to explore like how do we do that anyway. This coming Sunday, next Sunday, our guest speaker is Reverend Sydney Lehman-Steen. She'll also be providing the music. So don't miss her. She is a powerhouse and I'm really grateful to have her as part of our extended community next Sunday. On December 13th, we're going to be talking about how to make magic. How do we make magic? How do we make, I heard somebody say we make limoncello out of lemons. So how do we make magic this holiday season? And then on December 20th is our winter solstice celebration and message. So that's going to be a powerful day. On Sunday, December 27th, David Roth will be joining us as our guest speaker and guest musician. So be sure and check that out. On December 24th, we are having a Christmas Eve candle lighting service. It will be online at 7 p.m. You can receive your Christmas Eve at home toolkit from our website. Not quite yet. It's not quite set up yet, but Monica and I are going to be kind of sorting all of that out this week. And we'll be preparing Christmas Eve at home toolkits for every one of you that you can pick up here at the center, or if you're further away, we will mail it to you. So look forward to hearing more about that in this week's newsletter, but we do want to invite you to spend an hour with us on Christmas Eve, celebrating and honoring this season in a powerful way. So that is what I have to say about what's coming up in December. I'm so grateful to be in spiritual community with you all during this time. As we prepare to close, I invite you to join me in the words of the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. See you on Wednesday Community Connect. Bye-bye.
I got gratitude in my heart. I got gratitude in my soul. I just want to say thank you, thank you. I just want to say thank you, thank you. I just want to say thank you for it all. I got gratitude in my heart. I got gratitude in my soul. I just want to say thank you, thank you. I just want to say thank you, thank you. I just want to say thank you for it all. I got gratitude in my heart. I got gratitude in my soul. I just want to say thank you, thank just wanna say thank you for it all. Thank you for it all. Thank you for it all.